My name is Michael Muniz, and my presentation is on whether homework is good or bad. My claim is I will argue homework is beneficial to students because it helps students remember things learned in class. It helps teachers and students get a better idea if they understand the topic, and it helps students stay competitive with the rest of the world. My audience is Mark Huntsman. He is the head of the Utah State Board of Education, which means he has a large influence on education. I'll make it real and important by showing him new ways to look at homework. I believe that through the research I've done, I have come up with some information that could be useful for him to see homework differently and maybe even have an idea of how to help teachers be more aware of the way they give out homework. My first reason is by Helen Sylvester. She shares on an article that revising the key skills learned in a classroom during homework increases the likelihood of a student remembering and being able to use those skills in a variety of situations in the future, contributing to their overall education. Basically, what this is saying is it's easier for students to remember the things they learn in class when they take their homework home and they review over what they learned in a different environment and situation. This is because our brains work in a way that it's easy for us to forget things when we move from one situation and environment to another. An example of this is Helen Sylvester tells us that when we're looking for our keys or our wallet and we're looking around the house, sometimes when we go into a new room, we ended up forgetting what we were even looking for, and it takes us a little while to think again, what was I looking for? But sometimes when we go back into the same room that we were looking in the first place, then we can automatically just remember it. But the reason why is because our brain has a hard time remembering things once we leave a situation. And because of this, homework is good for students because it gives them an opportunity to take homework home and be able to review over what they learned in class at home, which in the end will contribute to their overall education when they're in a test or a quiz, and that information is locked in their brain. John Haidy on BBC gave us a quote. It said, "The worst thing you can do with homework is give projects. The best thing you can do is reinforce something you've already learned." The reason for this is because of what we just learned. When you reinforce something that you learned, it helps the student more because it gives them a greater chance of remembering what they just learned, or remembering what they learned in class, because they're reviewing it in a different situation. But when you give a student a new project of something that they haven't even learned yet, and make them go and look up the way how to do it online, then that doesn't benefit students at all because they aren't reviewing over information that they learned in a different environment. They're only just learning new information again in a different environment, which won't benefit them when they go back to school and they're doing a test. My second reason is by Terry Ochman. She points out that students can use homework to know whether they understand the material or not, as well as allow the teacher to know if the student is struggling. This means that when a student takes homework home, it gives the student a greater understanding of whether they need to learn more about the topic or not. Because if a student takes homework home and they realize that they're struggling and they didn't understand, and after all, then it helps them realize that they need to go back and ask a teacher a question. But if a student is shy and they're afraid to go talk to their teacher because they don't have a super good relationship, because let's be honest, most students don't have a super good relationship with their teachers. It gives a teacher an opportunity to know if their student is struggling, because if the student doesn't turn in the homework, or if the homework is done wrong, then the teacher will get the idea that they need to review over that, or they need to help the student out because they're struggling. But not only does homework benefit student and teachers, but it also can benefit parents. Achman points out that parents can be benefited when their students bring back homework and they can see what their child is doing, what topics they're learning. So if the student is struggling with their homework, then rather than the parents being helpless and not knowing how to help, they can look at the homework and they can give the student a secondary source of how to learn how to do the topic. This can be a very good tool for the student, the teacher, and the parent. So not only is it beneficial to students, but also to the teachers and the parents. My third reason is by Kelly Wallace, a reporter from CNN. She posted the results of a debate that parents had on whether their children should be doing homework or not. One parent made a valid point, mentioning, "I don't think it's the right thing to say, oh, they don't need any homework. It's just too much. They should be out playing. They should go to school." Gunty told me, "Making it less and less and less is contributing to us being less competitive worldwide." Basically, what this is saying is, even if we stop doing homework, the rest of the world won't. So we need to make sure that even if it is stressful, we continue to push forward, or else we'll get behind. It's important because homework has been proven to benefit, even if it's not in elementary school, which goes along with my next point. Some people may point out that homework has been proven not to be beneficial in elementary school, which does not help my argument. Their quote would be by Katie Riley, who reported on Time that in Texas, a second grade teacher has stopped giving out homework to her students. Contrary to my argument, this second grade teacher hasn't seen any problems occur because of her decision to stop giving out homework. But a part of my argument, Monica Fugel points out in a blog the 4 ways that homework aids students in a student's academic achievement is responsibility, time management, perseverance, and self-esteem. These are all things that are important for a student to learn while they are young. Although homework is not helpful in elementary school, it has been proven that homework is beneficial in high school and in college. So if we just stop giving our students homework while they're young, then what would that do for them when they go into high school or college? They wouldn't know how to be responsible and manage their time, or be perseverant, or have the right self-esteem. So it's important that we do our best to make sure that we give homework even when they're young, and even when it seems like it's not benefiting them. These are my references for where I got my quotes. And these are my photo references from where I got my photos. Thank you.